We get afternoon storms each day. I'm Cal Moss with your Ogg Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
And welcome into Sports Talk Media Network here on this Talking Tuesday night. It's great to have you with us, Phil Kornblut, here at Newberry College. Beautiful, wonderful, and wild, and let's just say old Newberry College. It's been around a long, long time, Chris Bergen, and you probably have done broadcasts, and it's raining here, by the way. You have probably done broadcasts from that press box at Setzler Field that still stands there today.
Oh, absolutely. And that old PC part of me that makes it very difficult to say anything nice about Newberry. But I do like Newberry College. It's a cool place, and they have done a tremendous job of sort of maintaining that small college feel while continuing to add sports and do everything else. But, yeah, Setzler Field, I got fond memories over there, both good and bad, of the Bronze Derby games.
Absolutely. And, they're working, and they're moving forward, and they have, as we've talked about over the years, they have improved one side of their stadium with the stands and with a nice building and a coach's building and a administrative building. I have to work on the other side where the press box is and where the visiting stands are. But you know what? The field is still 100 yards long, and it's still got the big red N in the middle with the wolf carved in there. If you're watching us on our stream, I have a brand new Newberry College hat.
Phil, you have a cover over your camera. Looks like you have a nice piece of paper over your camera or something. I can't really see it, but...
I don't have a cover. Oh, how about now?
No, it's still very much covered. There's something over your camera.
Okay. Well, we'll have to address that when we have time. It's not exactly the most important thing that we're doing, but we will address that momentarily. Okay. Yeah, I see what
How about
you're
you getting
about.
gifts on the Palmetto's Pigskin Tour? I'm impressed.
Well, I'm just asking everybody. I said, hey, the only thing I want is to it was showing the wrong camera. See, the problem with this camera is it's such a good camera. It shoots me too close. It shoots me too tight. I don't like being so close on the camera. I have a face for a far-away shot, not an up-close shot. But there you see the Newberry cap that I've got now, the brand new Newberry cap. Very happy with that, very proud of that. Got a new Furman hat last night, so I'm trying to update my hat wardrobe. That's very important to me. Are you a big hat man, Bergie? Do you like hats?
I am not. Never have been. I've got so many of them, I could probably start wearing one a night and never repeat. But, yeah, I've never been a hat person. I tell you, though, where you missed out last night, you should have asked Hunter Reed to hook you up with the hoodie that Josh Burrell had on last evening. That was a sharp-looking hoodie.
I don't want to ask for too much. I ask for just enough to where they won't say no, okay? So, like a
Fair
hat,
enough.
Everybody's got a hat. Hey, can I get a hat? Sure. And I've actually got a brand new, because the shirt I'm wearing is a Newberry shirt, but it's the old Nike shirt. I've got the brand new Newberry Adidas version shirt. How about that? You like that?
Very
Yes,
nice.
sir. Yeah. So we're coming out of here with some bling. I like walking away with bling. Tomorrow we'll be at Charleston Southern, Thursday at the Citadel, where I plan to do a couple of tours of the Citadel. And
Good luck with that.
And then Friday, Coastal Carolina. That's the plan for the rest of this week. We've already been to Furman last night, and then last week we were at Benedict. And then we were at Presbyterian, and we're at South Carolina State. So one by one, we are checking them off. We were at South Carolina today, and Shane Beamer met with the media. It was interesting. It was an interesting presser. We'll bring you a pretty good segment of it coming up here after the bottom of the hour. But he touched on, of course, his football team coming off the scrimmage. Didn't shed a whole lot of light on the scrimmage, except that there were no turnovers in 117 plays. So on the one hand, you feel good about your offense protecting the football, Bergie. On the other hand, you don't feel good about your defense not creating turnovers.
Well, this was a South Carolina team that was very good last year in terms of turnover margin. You'd want to get a few more turnovers, I think, forced, but the offense didn't cough it up all that often last year, so maybe that's a good thing. They continue to protect the football, and that's the only thing it's difficult, I think, as a coach, to try and gauge a scrimmage. If the defense looks really, really good, is that an indictment of your offense, or is that praise that needs to be forthcoming for your defense and vice versa? So, you would hope, maybe like Clemson had in their scrimmage on Saturday, you'd hope that your defense might get a couple of pick sixes and turn some plays that way. But maybe it's a good thing that Lenore Sellers and the offense was not coughing up the football.
Yeah. Otherwise, no major new injuries coming out of there. He did say that one of the freshman defensive ends is going to be out for an extended period with a lower body injury. Another player, a walk-on defensive back, is also going to be out for an extended period. Otherwise, the other folks who've been dealing with some injuries are getting healthy, and nobody else right now, as of today, except for those two, nobody else is expected to miss the Virginia Tech game who are able to go at this particular time. So that's a good thing for South Carolina. He also touched on the Netflix series on the SEC and how much South Carolina was shown in that series, or is being shown in that series, and how much was left on the cutting room floor of South Carolina. He said they could have had a whole bunch more with South Carolina in that series, but he was very pleased with that. And he took a few minutes to clap back at people who apparently, something about his wife, I don't know if this was in the series, I guess, she was making cookies for the team and coaches, players. It's something she's always done. And somebody or some people started, this had to be tongue-in-cheek in jest, I guess, kind of criticizing her for not letting the cookies bake long enough. And he's like,
Really?
my wife knows how to bake cookies. She's been baking cookies for everywhere I've been. Ask the tight end room in Oklahoma how good her cookies are, that kind of stuff. So he took up some time on that. Of course, he thanked the Blanchard family for their contribution to the program with what was announced yesterday. So all of that, we're not bringing you that, okay? That's all the fluff stuff. We're going to bring you some hardcore football stuff on South Carolina when we play that coming up. Also, Clemson wide receiver Tristan Smith, one of the newbies at Clemson. We're going to hear from him tonight and his thoughts on joining the Tiger program. We got a little recruiting. Not much. Hadn't had a chance to work on much recruiting. Have a few notes here and there on that for you. And some phone calls. If you'd like to join us tonight, feel free to give us a call. Our phone number is 888-898-2525, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. We're on the Palmetto Pigskin Tour at Newberry, presented by Discover Palmetto SportsConnections.com. This is a new name for the new website that we talked about last week. They decided the old name was too close to South Carolina State, so they've changed the name to Discover Palmetto SportsConnections.com. This will provide you with interesting information about all sports that have some type of tie to South Carolina. For example, did you realize that Ron Parker, who's from Port Royal, a Newberry grad, had 8 years of experience in the secondary with the Raiders, the Seahawks, and the Chiefs? He was quite good. Obviously, he was terrific in college, quite good in the NFL. I remember him signing a pretty good contract there towards the end of his career. So he was a very good player, both at Newberry and in the NFL. Mark down that website, Discover Palmetto SportsConnections.com. And they are sponsoring the Palmetto Pigskin Tour as we roll on through the state. Okay. Anything else you want to share? I know you were listening in on some Clemson interviews today because they did interviews after their practice this morning.
Yeah, I had the DBs up there, and we've got up on our website. Oh, shoot, who did I put up now? I've forgotten already. Shelton Lewis, who's evidently healthy and ready to go. And he said that he likes, this is interesting, he said that he likes the way Tom Allen has sort of simplified and streamlined their calls and the like. So as soon as they get a call, he said, let's go play. And they're going to let them go out and play. And so I think that's why you've heard a lot of positive stuff coming out of Clemson with regards to the defense. But back to the Gamecocks, I was going to ask you, was there a reason, did you want to hold this until later with regards to no update on Rashul Faison?
Well, because there is no update. I mean, there's nothing. What am I supposed to say? There's nothing new. I mean,
it brings me to a point I brought up a couple of weeks ago. When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Shane Beamer continues to say he's got faith in the NCAA. I don't know where that could possibly be coming from, because they have shown to him that they're in no hurry to clear Rashul Faison if they ever clear him to play. And I just, I admire Coach Beamer wanting to not say too much about the NCAA, but at some point in time, he's got to lay it down and jump on these guys and say, look, we need to know one way or the other whether this kid is going to be cleared. It's ridiculous. We're 2.5 weeks out from the season opener. So I think at some point in time he's got to take a different stance, because the NCAA is showing the Gamecocks and USC that they're in no hurry to fix this problem. So the faith that he is paying to the NCAA, I don't get where he's coming from on this.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I don't think it's worthwhile.
Well, I mean, I agree in that. Well, first of all, he can't say anything. He can't blast the NCAA right now. That's not going to be in his best interest or the kid's best interest. No sense, making them mad at you when you're trying to get a favorable response.
Is that worse than a lawsuit, though?
Well, I mean, if it comes to a lawsuit, it'll come to a lawsuit. But even if it comes to a lawsuit, I mean, that's not going to do him any good. Now, I'm sure if the NCAA rules against him, of course, what Beamer said, and you'll hear him, he's kind of like he said, expecting some positive news. He kind of sounded upbeat when talking about it today. His words were like, I'm expecting some positive news soon. So maybe he's getting some indications that it's going to work out in Faison's favor. It's just a matter of time. And he doesn't want to say anything that's going to tick off anybody that might say, well, he just blasted us. I vote no. So he's biting his tongue. And if it does not go in the kid's favor, I'm sure he'll cut loose. And then, I mean, a lawsuit's not going to do him any good. That'll take too much time. That's not going to help him for this season. He'd have to go get an injunction, which I don't think is a lawsuit. He'd have to find a judge who will issue an injunction and give him the right to go play. And again, that can be done quickly, apparently, because we see that all the time. But we haven't reached that point yet. They're still waiting on the NCAA to stand up and do their thing, and and then they'll go from there.
Do you think if there is no clarification and there's no sort of announcement this time 2 weeks from now, do you think they continue to practice him?
Yeah, I think they'll practice him right on up through game week.
Okay.
I see no reason why you shouldn't. I mean, he can go get some rotations. He can go carry the football and work in the rotation on offense. I don't think that hurts anything. But of course, you're also working Oscar Attaway, who spoke with the media today, and he looks really good. He pointed out that he was really hurt in the bowl game. He played hurt in the bowl game. He said he had a really hard time with one of his legs, one of his ankles was hurting. Had a hard time pushing off, planting and cutting. He's 100% healthy now, but he said he played really hurt in that bowl game. I don't think we knew that at the time.
No.
But he looks good. He looks built up and ready to go if he has to be the guy or share the rock. The players I mentioned who were injured, defensive end Kobe Saki-Pra out with a lower body injury. It's going to take some time to overcome. And defensive back Jackson Berger is also out for an extended period, according to Beamer, talking about players who are out and aren't going to be available for the Virginia Tech game. So we'll hear from him coming up at the bottom of the hour. We got some Clemson for you as well. The Newberry folks will be here at 7:05. Coach Todd Knight and the Wolves hoping to bounce back from a disappointing year last season. They've taken some necessary steps to move in that direction, of course. Rebuilding their roster, taking some transfers, adding some coaches, doing what it takes to get back to the winning ways here in the South Atlantic Conference. They got 6 players considered to be among the best in the league, so that's a good start for them. We'll hit the break, be back with more in a moment.
75 years, one reputation, too tough to tame. The Lady in Black doesn't care who you are, rookie or vet, playoffs favorite or long shot. 75 years of scraped walls, battle scars, and history made the hard way. This Labor Day weekend, be there to write the next chapter of the Cookout Southern 500. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Darlington Raceway, August 30th to 31st. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
G3 here with Tsunami Bar Sports, and it's time for a fall preview. That's right, 720 Chris Drive, 378 and I-26, Frontage Road, where you can now preview the best technology for golf known to man. It's the Tsunami Bar. It's live weight. It's the only technology out where you get your tempo and flow going before you play. Now, it also serves as a pattern support tool. 720 Chris Drive, Frontage Road, 378 and I-26. You also can visit the Garage Gym Pro Shop. Pick up your tools, take them home, and while you're here, tour the Scramble Course 6-hole pitch and putt right now.
Well, if you're going to be stuck in the rain, you might as well be stuck at the beach in the rain. All right, so let Jimmy Smith, he'll give you a raincoat and an umbrella, but he'll also find you a great place to stay at the beach, a house or a condo, a townhouse, whatever you need for your vacation getaway to the beach. Jimmy Smith and Company will jump on it for you. 843-237-4246, 843-237-4246, online at pauliesvacationrentals.com. Had somebody connect with me last week asking to hook up with Jimmy. They wanted a place to stay at the beach, and we passed that on, and they got hooked up, I'm sure, and had a great experience, because that's what Jimmy and the staff do. They make sure you have a great experience when you go to the beach. They can't do anything about the weather. Like I said, they can give you a slicker, and they can give you an umbrella, and they give you a roof over your head. The rest is, up to you to take advantage of the opportunities. That phone number again, 843-237-4246, online at pauliesvacationrentals.com. Phone number is 888-898-2525, and our text line number 803-900-4847. A few other items of note today as we check out some things that are of interest to us. And this story out of Oklahoma, it just depends on who you want to believe. There was somebody posted, I tell you, we're too connected, Bergie. We're just too connected. Somebody went back and took a look at Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer's Venmo account.
Why?
And found some postings where, when you do Venmo, you do Venmo, right? You do Venmo?
Yeah.
You do Venmo. So, like you can do it just between you and the individual and nobody sees it, or you can leave it out there in the public and you can put on there the purpose of your payment, mowing the yard or groceries or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. So he put on apparently a couple of his Venmo posts where he paid somebody, how do you put it? I think it was sports gambling debts or gambling debts, something like that. And somebody went and I guess took screenshots and then put it on X. And now all of a sudden, it's become this big thing hanging over this guy's head. And so he put out a statement today, quote, "The allegations that I once participated in sports gambling are false. My previous Venmo descriptions did not accurately portray the transactions in question, but were instead inside jokes between me and my friends. I have never bet on sports." And he goes on from there. One day, that particular generation, and maybe the one right after it and the one right behind it, is going to realize it's not smart to put everything you do on social media.
Exactly.
I mean, it really isn't smart. That somewhere, because it never goes away. It's out there somewhere, and he's learned a very hard lesson. Was he joking when he put that? Well, maybe he was. He says he was. Oklahoma doesn't seem to be too concerned about it. They say the NCAA has not started any kind of investigation at this point. So probably much to do about nothing, but that's what social media can do to you if you're not careful. Meantime, up at Boston College, according to Pete Thummel, it's going to be Dylan Lonergan as the starting quarterback. That's a familiar name. He transferred from Alabama. He's out of the state of Georgia. He was highly recruited quarterback, and I think South Carolina and Clemson were involved, as I recall, back in the day. So, is he going to find a place to make himself happy? So he went to Alabama. Now he's transferred to Boston College, and he has apparently won the starting job there at Boston College. So if he lives up to his high school rep, he'll be a good quarterback for BC. Meantime, it was yesterday that it was announced that Ty Simpson is going to be the starting quarterback at Alabama. That's another guy that Clemson recruited and offered, but he committed to Alabama. I believe that was in the same class that Clemson went on and took Vizina after that. I think they really wanted Simpson first in that particular quarterback group, but he went to Alabama. So now he'll be starting the season as the starting quarterback for the Crimson Tide. And Clemson's going to play West Virginia this November, first round of the Charleston Classic. That'll be on a Friday at 6:30 on November the 23rd, I think it is, November 23rd. Of course, they play on that Friday, take the Saturday off, and then play again on Sunday. And Kentucky's new LLC, called the Champions Blue, has signed a new deal with JMI. JMI is their multimedia rights holder. They're one of the big ones in the country. So they've signed a new deal through 2040. So this is a 15-year deal. It's estimated at $465 million. $465 million. Let me see here. Let me do the math on that. $465 million divided by 15 equals, that's $31 million a year, Bergie. $31 million a year. So if you're Kentucky and you're looking at balancing the budget, and I mean that covers your $20.5 million and more as that grows. That alone will cover that money for Kentucky if they want to look at it that way.
Yeah, fair enough. And maybe football will actually get a lion's share of that, because it appears they're not going to from the House settlement. So might as well try and get Mark Stoops and his team at least some help. And I know we won't keep up with this because chances of all of us being together in 2040 and remembering this story are pretty slim. But what do you think the chances are that this gets renegotiated at least twice between now and then?
Probably, especially if Big Blue is good in basketball and wins some championships. I just got a text here. It was, I'm told that Simpson and Klubnik were in the same recruiting class. Okay. Thank you for the correction. I knew it was Clemson with one of their quarterbacks and Simpson. So
they made the
Simpson
right decision
in the Cade Klubnik class. Okay, I'm getting overwhelmed by messages now. Thank you for that. Okay, we'll hit the break. Be back with more. Got Shane Beamer coming up. Don't go away.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Cloudy skies to go with a low temperature of 75 this evening. Tomorrow we do warm up to 89 as our high. We'll have some rain early and a little break with some sun in the afternoon. Look for high temperatures to reach 90 each day the rest of the week, with about a 30 to 40% chance we get afternoon storms each day. I'm Cal Moss with your Og Point local weather.
Are you looking for free checking and free savings? Dave Ramsey here, telling you to go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank that's so big they lose the ability to treat you like a human being. At Palmetto Citizens, you're not just a number, you're a member. Join today at any of their 14 locations or at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Of the Centers with SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Mexico is expelling 26 high-ranking cartel figures to the United States in the latest major deal with President Trump's administration. That's according to a person familiar with the matter. The person said the cartel leaders and other prominent figures were being flown from Mexico to the U.S. today. Mexico's Attorney General's Office and Security Ministry confirmed the transfers. They were carried out after a promise from the U.S. Justice Department that U.S. officials would not seek the death penalty in any of the cases. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says the man who fired more than 180 shots with a long gun at the headquarters of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention wanted to send a message against COVID-19 vaccines. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 483 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Hey, this is Kev with my good friend Ken from over at Broker Solar, and he really is a good friend. I've known Ken's family for more than 20 years. All right, so how many people lost power for an extended time back when we had that hurricane come through here, right? You got the solution, though, Ken, the solar-powered batteries.
The battery with solar system is essential. Not only can you back up your loads in an emergency event like a power outage, but you can also control the peak times that you use power, and the batteries can kick in to supplement your power usage. With our solar batteries, you can back up the home just like a generator would, but run it off the clean energy from the sun, which we get every single day. So no need to refill the gas, propane tanks, all powered by the sun.
Remember, Broker Solar is local. You make the call, the investment is worth it. How do the Point listeners find you over at Broker Solar, Ken?
The best way is going to be through brokersolar.com. Plenty of contact us buttons, but the phone number to reach us at would be 803-807-7417.
Hey y'all, it's Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We're introducing our new healthy gluten-free menu. For your choices, we offer charbroiled certified Angus ribeye steak, juicy marinated grilled chicken dinner, fresh grilled salmon, authentic Greek salad, hamburger steak with grilled onions and melted cheese, shish kebab with grilled chicken, veggie blue plate with a choice of 4 vegetable selections, spring chicken salad, and of course, our famous slow-roasted pot roast. Come and enjoy a healthy gluten-free menu at Flight Deck Restaurant. We at Flight Deck Restaurant, thank you, and God bless.
When I grew up, I want to be a nurse. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a teacher.
There's never been a better time to start making their dreams come true. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, makes it easy to save for their future education. Contributions are tax deductible, earnings are tax free, and you can start saving right now with any amount. Go to futurescholar.com today to discover the smart, easy way to save for college. That's futurescholar.com.
Maybe your credit's seen better days, or maybe it's just never been quite where you want it to be. At Founders Federal Credit Union, we get it. Life happens. Things don't always go according to plan. But that doesn't mean your goals are out of reach. Whether it's a car to get to work or a little extra breathing room in your budget, we offer personal and auto loans to help you move forward. With flexible terms and a team that treats you like a person, not a number. We take the time to understand because you don't need a perfect credit score to start your next chapter. Visit a local Founders office or foundersfcu.com to learn more. Founders, helping you do life on your terms, helping you build a brighter financial future. All it takes is one visit to foundersfcu.com to get you started. Relax, you've got this with Founders. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
And I didn't stop there, I swear. From the time I wake up to the time I lay down, it's the devil's playground everywhere that I look. Swear it's there in my blood, I was born to be lost. Lot of lines that I crossed, little more than I should. I'm losing me too. Pretty eyes in the
Okay, you're right. I get it. It was Cade Klubnik. Cade Klubnik and Simpson. How's that deal going to work out between the two? Is Klubnik going to – well, he's got one more year. Simpson's really just getting started. He played behind Milroe last season, so he'll get his shot, and we'll see if Ty Simpson's the answer at Alabama. And we'll see if Cade Klubnik can take Clemson to the promised land this season. Phone number 888-898-2525. Shane Beamer coming up. Hit some phone calls here. Let's go to Keith and Camden up first tonight. We welcome you in, sir. Good to have you with us.
Yes, sir. You too, Phil, Chris, and I'll be brief. As far as Faison, and, Beamer's between a rock and a hard spot, but I think he's doing what he should do. But I was speaking to a local judge the other day, and we were talking football, and I said, what do they do? As this keeps on, he says, well, what they do and what they probably have already done is they've got a federal judge already on standby to go with an injunction. So, that's possible. Just curious what y'all think, and enjoy the show. Y'all have a great evening. And look, let me tell you, if you see me on Facebook, dial 911. Talk to you.
I hear you. Yeah, I'm sure they've got Casey Manning on speed dial. If they need a judge. No, I think Casey's retired now. He probably can't help them. But, yeah, that's what you do. You just go to your friendliest judge that you can find who agrees with you and let him issue a restraining order. But I don't guess you can do that until
they say no.
Until they say no. And I guess in the meantime, he's in jail. He's in NCAA jail until they rule him innocent or guilty, I guess. They are letting him practice. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say it'll be fascinating if, let's assume for a moment, they declare him ineligible. And I would love to hear their reasoning and what South Carolina thought differently. I think that'll be a fascinating thing to follow if we ever find out. Here's what the Gamecocks believed when they filed paperwork to get Rasul in and felt like he would be deemed eligible. And here's why the NCAA said, no, you're wrong, he's ineligible. If that actually comes out, I would love to find out the nuts and bolts, which we probably never will. But I think it would be really an interesting study. He's a unique example that may or may not ever happen again. So it'd be really interesting to see how they came to their conclusion.
Well, this just popping up from Pete Nakos, and at least he's going to make some money or attempt to make some money. Rasul is. He's put out a T-shirt that says #FreeSewell.
Good for him.
He's launched #free. Now, I thought hashtags, they'd done away with hashtags on X. Have they not done away with hashtags on X?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Most people have stopped using them, but there are still several out there.
Yeah. Well, if you want this shirt, we'll give them a free plug since, we're here for those who need us. It's on a website called fanarch.com /collections /Rasul Faison. Fanarch.com. So you can go and get yourself a free Sewell shirt. Let's see. The hoodie costs $49.99. The T-shirt costs $29.99. And I guess all proceeds go to Rasul.
Him, yeah.
I guess all proceeds. Of course, I guess he's got to pay. He's got to pay some kind of licensing fee or something, or his agent does, or somebody's got to pay. Pay something to make this happen. But anyway,
do you get your money back if he's not freed?
No, but you got yourself a good, dish towel.
That's very true.
Or something to wax your car with if you need that down the road. Phone number 888-898-2525. Let's go to his family calls him Triple T. Some call him Francis. I call him the Angry Black Man. Welcome in, ABM. How are you? Good to have you with us.
First of all, I want to correct you. My family called me Oliver Francis. My sports fans call me Clemson Van Triple T. Let me get that straight.
But
I don't know what you're talking about.
What do your close friends call you like me? Your close friends like me. What do we call you?
I don't know what you call me, man.
Do you consider me? Do you consider me a close friend? Are we considered close friends?
I consider you a friend, not a close friend.
Okay.
But anyhow, a couple of things. Carolina fans, give me a break. Y'all making a deal about a 7-year player playing football. Give me a break. He need to get the hell on, so I'm saying this. But that's good. Anyhow, the second thing, showing Carolina fans a joke, talking about we playing 8 ranked teams. Clemson only played 2. It's the preseason, man. It doesn't matter who ranked during the preseason. What's wrong with y'all, man? Hello?
The only thing I would say, no, listen, I hear you. This is why we call him ABM. The only thing about the preseason ranking, is this. It helps you if you're winning, it helps you stay up near the top, and that will help you when if you don't get the automatic bid, it will help you with the committee when they're selecting the at-large bids. It's easier to stay up there if you're winning than it is to say you're 30th and you're winning games and you got to jump past all these people. So, like Clemson's in a good place right now. They're 4th. If they beat LSU, they'll stay in the top 4. They keep winning, they'll stay up there. If they lose, they'll probably drop outside the top 10, or depending on how they lose to LSU, if it were to happen, maybe they would drop near 10.
Excuse me.
Yes,
they're not going to lose to LSU.
Oh, I think you better consider that a real possibility.
Hey, okay. We got a lunch on that, okay, at SeaWorld.
Lunch.
You paid for my lunch.
Well, I'm not betting yet. I'm not saying they're going to lose. I'm just saying you can't go into that game thinking it's not possible for you to lose. It's very possible for you to lose that game.
Clemson's going to win.
Okay.
All right. Tell Gamecock fans, look, man, you're the same old Gamecocks. It doesn't matter. So I'm saying you're the Gamecocks. You've never been ranked number 1. You should never say never, but y'all never will be ranked number 1, and you'll never win a national championship in my grandkids' lifetime. Take care, Gamecock fans. You're just like the Dallas Cowboys, always next year, like Jim Carlin always say. Take care.
They've been ranked as high as number 2. Mm-hmm. Didn't they get the number 2 in '84? I know you said number 1. See you, Oliver. ABM, Francis. Come on, Francis. So they have been ranked as high as number 2. Weren't they high as number 2 in '84?
Yeah, and I think had they won the game against Navy, they were poised to move into that number 1 spot, if memory serves.
Exactly, and play for the national championship in the Orange Bowl, or maybe the Sugar Bowl, whatever Bob Markham was working on at that time. But yeah, Oliver, I mean, Clemson could lose to LSU. I mean, that could happen. It's not a walkover game by any means. I think the winner of that game is going to win by less than a touchdown. I think it's going to be a close, down-to-the-wire fourth-quarter game. I don't expect it to be a 2-touchdown spread in the fourth quarter by either team. So,
and one correction to his point about preseason rankings, Clemson actually plays, at present, 3 preseason ranked teams. He forgot about SMU.
Mm-hmm. And who doesn't forget about SMU? Everybody overlooks SMU. Same thing with South Carolina. I mean, I think I feel better about them beating Virginia Tech than I do about Clemson beating LSU right now. But the Gamecocks could lose that game. to Virginia Tech.
Sure they could.
If they don't play good football, Virginia Tech is. We'll see how good they are. They're an unknown. They're not viewed as being a real threat, but you never know. Good quarterback, transfer receivers come in to give them some life, help give them some life on offense. Number of transfers they've taken, so you just don't know what you're going to see from Virginia Tech. All right, thank you for the call. We're going to hit the break, come back and hear from Shane Beamer, South Carolina head football coach, who visited with the media today. Was this his I know it was his first media session since the scrimmage. Was this his first time visiting with the media since practice began? Have we met with him before?
Met with him at Birdies for Beamer, or Birdies with Beamer, and then the day before preseason camp. I think you may be right.
Yeah, since the media day, I think this is the first time. So he really didn't go into a lot of detail about the scrimmage, just a little bit. You'll hear that coming up.
75 years, one reputation, too tough to tame. The Lady in Black doesn't care who you are, rookie or vet, playoffs favorite or long shot. 75 years of scraped walls, battle scars, and history made the hard way. This Labor Day weekend, be there to write the next chapter of the Cookout Southern 500. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Darlington Raceway, August 30th and 31st. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's Corbett. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay, Shane Beamer met with the media today after some Gamecock players did. It was the first of his weekly Tuesday press conferences for the season, though the one he'll do the week of the Virginia Tech game will be on a Wednesday since they're not playing until Sunday. Everything's moved back a day, so that'll be Wednesday. Otherwise, on Tuesday, let's go to it. Shane Beamer talking to the media earlier today.
Off to a good start, like the way these guys are working, fun group to be around, no question about it. Had our first scrimmage last Saturday, another one coming up this Saturday as well, and then get into our mock game week next week as well. But been a good start, without a doubt. I know I'm going to get asked about Rasul. I don't have an update for you right now. He wasn't at practice Sunday. That wasn't because of his situation with the NCAA. He just got hit on his shoulder a little bit in our scrimmage on Saturday night, so it's nothing serious, just a bruise. But he was in the training room, or actually getting some extra work done on that Sunday night when you guys were at practice. But he was back out there today in good spirits. Hope to get some good news on that soon, but we'll see. But again, extremely respectful of the NCAA and the job they have. I know they're analyzing other cases besides Sewell's, and appreciate them taking it into consideration, and optimistic that we'll get some good news hopefully soon. But appreciate and proud of Sewell for how he's handling this situation and his mindset and spirit, as well as his teammates as well, and how they're helping him through this. Also, nothing really new injury-wise to report. Normal bumps and bruises that you've had in preseason camp. Nothing long term that would affect anybody playing in game one other than Kobe Saki-Prar, true freshman. He's got a lower body injury that will be somewhat long term. Wouldn't expect him back anytime soon. And then Jackson Berger, who was really doing some great things for us from a defensive back and special teams standpoint, going back to the spring. The rate that he improved from last year to now is really impressive. He'll be out for a while also, but everyone else we anticipate being I haven't already said was probably going to be out long term. No one new to report other than those two. And optimistic that everybody will be good as we go into preseason or into game one. Big week coming up, obviously, with the last week of preseason camp. We start class here next week at Carolina. So this is our last real camp week, if you will, where we're doing afternoon walkthroughs and evening meetings and whatnot. That'll wrap up after this week.
Shane, just wanted to confirm with the injuries, Desmond Yu and Jalen Kilgore, they're good to go?
Yes. They normal bumps and bruises. Dez will be fine. Got banged up in the scrimmage the other night. Jalen's got a little bit of a soft tissue injury on the lower body, but if we played today, they would play.
And also during open practice, we've seen Luke Doty out there, still working, catching kicks, catching punts. Is he still number 2 quarterback? And is it kind of getting to the time where it's like, okay, maybe stop that and focus solely on QB?
No, he's a really good football player. So, yes, he's still the number 2 quarterback right now. And, yes, he's continuing to work in a lot of areas. He's working on all of our special teams, all of them meaning our 4 core, punt pressure, kickoff return. He's working on all those. He's working in the return game. He's just really smart. He's a talented guy, and he's improved as a quarterback. So, yes to all that.
Is there any aspect, I guess, of the game that you guys are better at this juncture of camp as opposed to maybe last year or other seasons since you've been here?
I would think situational football, and that's mainly just because Lenoris is a little bit older. Not a little bit. He is older than what he was last year. He's a year older. So, yeah, he knew that. But, in the afternoon, so we practice in the mornings, and then there's a break now that our players have where the coaches go and watch tape. And then in the afternoons, we do a walkthrough at 4. We start meeting, or we do a special teams meeting and offense defense meetings around 4, and then about 5:20 we have a walkthrough in the indoor that we do for about 45 minutes, and we always finish up the walkthrough each day with some sort of situational football aspect. And there were some days last year where having a new quarterback, whether it be Lenoris or Robbie, and it's their first time going through a lot of those scenarios. There were a couple walkthroughs where I blew a gasket last year, and because it wasn't getting operated and we didn't make good decisions. Not that we're perfect, myself included, because you're always learning and trying to be better in those situations. We did something today that clockwise that I learned from as well. But I think we're so much farther along from that standpoint where Lenoris goes out there and we do the same thing that we did last year, and it's just and he's just a machine at it. And Luke really good. And they remembered that walkthrough last year didn't go as well, and Luke kind of grabbed me afterwards. He's like, "We got your back this year, Coach. Like we're good. We're so much farther along." And he's right. We spent a lot of time on it, just like last year, and we spent so much time talking about it throughout the season. I think we're farther along, at least at the quarterback position. Now you still got freshman receivers and freshman defensive backs that haven't done that, but at least when your quarterback is more experienced, it goes a long way.
What impressed you the most, if anything, from the first scrimmage?
Offense didn't turn the ball over. That was good. I look back at my notes from last year. They didn't turn the ball over in that scrimmage last year either. Now, y'all heard me talk about we did in the season some, but that was good to have. I mean, we got, I think, 117 plays in the other night, and the year before that scrimmage was 108, I believe. So we got more plays. And there were no turnovers. Now, there were some plays, some throws where receivers got their hands on the throw and probably should have been an interception, but they weren't able to finish the catch. So that's good. I think when you can go in there and have 117 plays and not turn the ball over, that's a start, because we know how important turnover margin is in college football. And then just seeing young guys make plays. I thought we punted the ball well. in there. We did some good things from a special team standpoint, and then seeing young guys being in the stadium for the first time and handling that environment.
Talking about the kicking competition specifically, obviously you've talked about how you try to make it the most high-pressure situations as possible, but I imagine there has to be like an element of acceptance that for a lot of these guys that have no college experience yet, like you can't fully know what it's going to be like when they're actually out there, and how that plays into evaluating them.
No, it does. It's you do as much as you can. You try and make practice as loud and chaotic as you can. You can go in the stadium. You can go on the practice field. You try and put them in pressure situations. We had a deal today where it was a 2-minute drill at the end of practice, and we brought 2 kickers out to kick a game-winning field goal, and you just try and create as many different scenarios like that as possible, but still knowing, Lulu, whether it be the kicker or the receiver, it's just the defensive back that's playing in his first college game, or anyone. It's Lenoris. I mean, he's been in environments, but it's different when you go out there and you do it for real. But it's a challenge, and another reason that we should be able to have preseason games and exhibition games and all that against an opponent.
Kind of sticking with special teams from the start of preseason camp to now, how would you evaluate where every phase of the special team is right now?
I think we're moving along. I thought, like I said, we've punted the ball well consistently. I feel like we have kicked well for the most part. Always could be a little bit more consistent. So pleased there. Return game, we've spent a lot on. We don't really do a lot of live, really none. Cover a kick and tackle. It's all tag off or thud up. But I feel like we've made improvement in the return game, and we got some guys that can certainly run, that have size and speed and can cover kicks as well. So I'm pleased. This will be a big week for us. This week as well, but they're really, really working hard. And it's awesome, though. You talk about culture and guys being able to see other guys do things. I mean, seniors, Brian Thomas, DQ Smith. I mean, those are 2 guys that are really doing a great job and working really, really hard on special teams. So it's a great moment when you're able to show those guys on tape doing that to younger guys as well. Because a lot of these freshmen, when they come in, they didn't come to South Carolina to be the left tackle on the punt team. I mean, I'm going to go play linebacker, and I'm going to go play the running back and all that. So making them understand, because a lot of them probably didn't play special teams in high school, and making sure they understand the importance of it and really emphasizing to them. We've got 114 players on our roster right now, and we're only allowed to take 74 to SEC away games. So making sure those guys understand that those are hard decisions every week, who the 74 that we take are. And a lot of the times it's going to come down to special teams.
So you guys are coming off of 9 wins. You guys were, yesterday ranked 13th, first time in 14 years. You could say these are the highest expectations you had going into a season here. How is that different for you? How do you prepare the team, the program, and the players to embrace those higher expectations out of the gates?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather be ranked high and have those expectations than not. I mean, as a coach, when you're not ranked high like we were last year, it's great because you can use that as fuel and motivation. But we want to be a team that's consistently ranked high in the top 10, top 15 going into every single season because it means we did some good stuff the year before and we're expected to do stuff again. And the best teams in the country year in, year out, they're in those preseason rankings every year. But those teams and what we're continuing to convey to our guys, and we've been talking about it since the beginning, is all that matters is just what we do from this point forward. If you had a good season the year before and your quarterback returns, you're probably going to be ranked pretty high, and that's what we are. Now, do I think we're a good team? Heck yeah. And we also have a lot of work to do, but as you saw last year, there's a lot of teams that, or every year, there's teams that are ranked in that preseason top 10, top 15 that won't be at the end of the season, and there's a lot of teams that aren't right now that will be at the end of the season as well. So just making sure that our guys understand every year is different, and we didn't really listen to it when everybody was telling us how terrible we were, maybe a little bit, but we don't need to be listening to it now when everybody's telling us how great we are, because you say, all right, we're ranked 13th and we are, but I also know there's some prominent media members that put out their own little polls that we're not in their top 25, so we still got a lot to prove.
All right, Shane Beamer. He'll be on the weekly news conference calendar now moving forward, except again for that week of the Virginia Tech game. He'll do that on a Wednesday. He feels pretty good about his team, though. You can tell in his voice, I think he feels pretty good about the group they'll trot out there. I don't know, man. I'm thinking 9 wins. I'm thinking 9-3. We'll dive more into that later. Back after the break.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The nation's budget deficit rose again last month despite record tariff income.
We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs.
That was President Trump last week. Treasury Department data show a 273% rise in customs revenue from last year. At the same time, however, the federal budget deficit continues to grow, climbing 20% this fiscal year. Tariff revenues are not yet offsetting increased federal spending, which includes growing interest payments on public debt and Social Security cost of living increases. Ben Thomas, Washington.
Transgenderism is emerging as a major battle line in next year's midterm elections. Bob Agnew reports.
In the Virginia governor's race, Republican Winsome Earl Sears castigates her Democrat opponent, Abigail Spanberger, for approving biological boys in girls' locker rooms. In Georgia, a GOP ad takes aim at incumbent Senate Democrat John Ossoff as it shows a male basketball player knocking a female player to the ground. The announcer says, quote, "Man-to-man defense isn't woke enough for Ossoff." Ossoff's seat is seen by Republicans as perhaps the most likely to flip from blue to red as the GOP seeks to hold and even expand its Senate majority. Bob Agnew reporting.
Mexico is expelling 26 high-ranking cartel figures to the United States in the latest major deal with the Trump administration. That's according to a person familiar with the matter. The person said the cartel leaders and other prominent figures were being flown from Mexico to the U.S. today. Mexico's Attorney General's office and Security Ministry confirmed those transfers. They were carried out after a promise from the U.S. Justice Department that the U.S. officials would not seek the death penalty in any of the cases. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 483 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
Hi, my name's Neil. I have some advice for you if you've been trying to break free from credit card debt. You can start by doing what I did. Get your bills together and call Trinity Debt Management. Trinity is dedicated to helping people like me become debt-free. When I called, my first experience was a feeling of relief. My counselor was kind, and best of all, she didn't judge me. In just a few minutes, she helped me figure out a plan that consolidated all my bills into one lower monthly payment. This substantially reduced my high interest rates and put me on the road to success. In the end, I saved thousands in interest, and today, my credit card debt is a thing of the past.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Neil. Take it from someone who's been there. Call Trinity and become debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
South Korean intel officials estimate more than 50,000 North Korean laborers have been shipped off to Russia, working in slave-like conditions, primarily at construction sites. The BBC's Jean McKenzie is in Seoul.
We've spoken to 6 North Koreans who've managed to escape. They all described being confined to their construction sites, where they worked 18 hours a day for little or no pay, because their earnings were sent to fund the North Korean regime. Here's one of the workers. We voiced his words to protect him.
We were treated like animals. The other workers used to say we were just slaves for Kim Jong-un. They used to taunt us. You're not men, just machines that can speak.
A heat wave continues in parts of Europe. The heat wave, France's second this summer, is expected to last all week. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Cloudy skies to go with a low temperature of 75 this evening. Tomorrow we do warm up to 89 as our high. We'll have some rain early and a little break with some sun in the afternoon. Look for high temperatures to reach 90 each day the rest of the week, with about a 30 to 40% chance we get afternoon storms each day. I'm Cal Moss with your Og Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network, coming to you tonight from wild, wonderful, beautiful, aged Newberry College. Nice way of saying old Newberry College. Been around a while. Been playing football here at Newberry a long, long time. Setzler Field might be, I don't know historically where it ranks among the oldest. We have Coach Todd Knight here with us. He's not like the oldest coach around, but he is 17 years at Newberry with a new contract that's going to keep him here for a long, long time. So congratulations on all that, and welcome in. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, thank you, my friend. Welcome back to the Berry.
Welcome back to the Berry.
I've been here as the head coach for a little while, but I think I got here in 2002, so I've been here about 23 years. So you talk about old. Yeah.
You've seen a lot of change.
I certainly have.
And things are still moving in a positive direction here.
Yes, they are. Yes.
What things are you working on right now behind the scenes?
Well, the third phase of the stadium, that's been a big topic around here for the last year or so. And we've got a lot of big boosters that are pulling together. And we've had a donor dinner a couple of weeks ago with, the big dogs, so to speak. And the ball's rolling, and I feel good about it. I think we can get that thing knocked out here in the next year or so.
Do you, and we're going to get into your team in a moment, we have to talk about this other stuff. I had somebody tell me the other day around the South Atlantic Conference that, some schools are putting together NIL-type stuff to use for recruiting and go after players. How about, are you guys able to do stuff like that? What can you do from that standpoint?
Well, that's in the mix. It really is. It may not be a popular thing with everybody. A school our size, there's only a certain amount of money. Mm-hmm. And, but a lot of it needs to go toward buildings and scholarship fund and that type of thing. But there's a group of businessmen here locally that want to put an NIL program together. And quite frankly, they're off and running with it. They feed me a little information here and there. Yeah. I'm not officially a part of it, but it looks like it is going to happen for us this season.
Very good. Very good.
In some shape or form.
Sure. Let's talk about it. Let's forget about last season. Last season was tough.
Hey, look, you have your ups and your downs, especially when you've been somewhere as long as I have. And, at this level, it's tough. There's no doubt in that. And recruiting, sometimes it cycles out, and you have a down year. Mm-hmm. And I think we went through that last year, but it's behind us. You're right, and we pushed forward. Had a great off season, not a good off season, a great off season, as good an off season as I can remember in my time here. I think we brought in a handful of kids that made a big difference. The older kids that were here, they really bonded with that group, and great work ethic, great attitude in spring ball. I thought the coaching staff did a heck of a job. And, our kids enjoyed being around, being together. And, it's crazy what kids gravitate to. Feel like, I bought a piece of equipment in the off season, and I think it made all the difference in the world in our program. And,
what was it?
A ping pong table.
I'm thinking about like a weight machine or something.
Weight machines are way too expensive.
Yeah, a ping pong table.
Hey, look, I got to run the kids out the locker room. They're hanging out in there together, watching TV, playing ping pong ball, and look, it's competitive.
Yeah,
and they're having fun being around each other, and they bonded. And that really made all the difference in the world. And we came out of the off season and had the first ever summer program. Never had one before, and it was great. Our strength coaches did a heck of a job for about 4 weeks. We started off with like 55 kids in the program, and I got to be a little standoffish with that. The strength coaches are in charge of it, and the first day, I came to work and I looked out there on the field and I started counting, and we had like 80 kids. I said, okay, now, I'm paying for 55 kids to be out. Where's the other 25 or 30 coming from? And the kids just got on the phone and started calling each other and talking, and they just drove in every day, Phil. And that excitement is here.
Did it take going through what you went through last season to do what you've done this offseason?
I think so. I really do. And, I think the coaching staff, I got to give them a lot of credit. Not me. Those guys, they did a great job in the offseason. The strength coaches did a great job in the summer program, and it's all brought us to camp. And I'm really liking where we are in camp right now.
Speaking of your coaching staff, you've got some additions, some new names, some new faces on your staff.
Like Drew Watson is a Hall of Famer and the secondary coach here for us, but his son Cole Watson, that played here for me several years back, played in the Canadian League, won the Grey Cup, bounced around, coached at a couple of D1 schools, and had an opportunity to bring him back, and father-son combination there, coaching against each other every day. So you talk about competitive, but I think that youthful enthusiasm, Cole has brought a lot of that back to the table for us.
How about Coach Kitchens?
Coach Kitchens, another guy that went off from here and was in the NFL for a couple of years and wanted to get into coaching, and we got him over here with us during the spring, and he's made a major impact for us. He and Cole together on the offensive side of the ball have really turned it for us.
So offense, I'm sure, getting a lot of attention. Averaged under 20 points per game last season, but you should be solid at quarterback going into the season. That's a major plus for you.
Right.
Fill us in on what's happening there and elsewhere around your offense.
I think we've got several kids that's battling for the job, but Reed Sharpie, he played a little bit for us last year, but he got banged up, was in and out, that kind of thing. But Reed's had a great off season, and the camp, he's really he stepped out there. He's kind of separated himself from the crowd. He's a kid that's got a lot of savvy about him, a lot of football knowledge. His dad's a high school football coach forever and is still doing that to this day. And he's one of those kids, when the lights come on, Phil, he shows up. But what I've seen from him in camp is he's not waiting on the lights to come on. He's doing it every day now, and that's big with me.
How about the support group around him?
I've got Mason Kitts, a transfer guy. He's out of Metro Atlanta, started off at Northern Illinois, and has bounced around a little bit. And the kid's found a home with us. Big, good-looking kid, tall, lean, can run, can sling it, smart. He's everything you want. He's still learning it. He's still trying to put it together. But when he does, I think he will challenge Reed. But I think Reed is ready for that challenge. So I think that competition right there, I think it'll breed a winner for us.
How do you look up front along your offensive line?
I'm really excited about the guys up front. We're big. Because of the summer program, we're stronger than we've ever been. And I think those guys are in shape. We had a kid that actually broke the NFL Combine for the 225 bench press test. This kid, you can look him up. I think he's got over 1 million hits. He pressed 225 52 times.
This is one of your guys.
One of my guys, yeah. This is crazy.
His name is?
Mason Gregg. He's out of Sumter, and he's been with us a couple of years, and he's just a freak.
So he benched 225
52 times.
Without stopping.
Without stopping. You can look it up. It's a video. It's fired. It's going viral.
That's amazing.
It truly is. And I think that speaks volumes for having a great offseason, having a summer program, and just living in there with the strength coaches.
Who will be some of the standouts you feel among your skill position guys outside of quarterback, running backs, receivers? Who do you like?
Dwayne Wright, he's back for his senior year, 2-time All-Conference. He's the man. He has a combination, strength, power. He's not a burner, but he runs well enough. Mm-hmm. But if you get in his way, it doesn't matter how fast he is. He's sometimes I think he could score, but he looks for contact instead of scoring. And maybe we can get rid of that his senior season. Yeah. But Dwayne's a heck of a ball player. He could walk away from here. 3-time All-Conference guy. He's had an amazing career here with us.
How about running backs?
Dwayne is that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We brought in a couple of guys out on the edge. DeAndre Coleman, a transfer from Coastal, big, good-looking kid outside. He's a 50-50 guy, but he's athletic enough that he can do a lot of other things. But, he's going to stand out for us at the receiver spot. Keith Deschishore at the slot. He's been a MVP on offense, I think, twice in his career, coming back for his senior season. Another multiple all-conference guy. Keith is a little water bug. He's one of those guys at slot that it's a mismatch with an outside linebacker. Now, if we're going to run him and he's at the point of attack on the blocking scheme, it might be a mismatch in the wrong direction. But out in open space, if you flip it to him, he's going to make you miss, and he could run away from you. Pretty electric kid.
Defense.
I think we've got a great inside linebacking core, and I'm going to bring in Mikey Blanding here in a little bit to talk. Big, good-looking kid. Mm-hmm. He can fly. And he's smart. We're really, really multiple on defense. We'll slide from a 4-3 to a 3-down, multiple 8 look. Coach Flynn and those guys on defense, they do a great job. I think a lot of times we may have too much in it. Sometimes you worry about mental mistakes, but they pull it off. They really do, and it's because of guys like Mikey in the middle, setting people, lining it up. His kid started off at the Citadel and transferred up here with us a couple of years ago. He's out of the Low Country. He is extremely athletic, good-looking, can run, and a very aggressive linebacker. He's one of the best ones we've had in a while.
All right, so in front of him up front, you got guys that can keep the offensive line off of him.
We do, sliding from a 4 down to a 3 down just in any given time. Mm-hmm. But, we've got some pretty big guys up front that's really strong that I'm excited about it. Those kids up front, even though I feel like we got a big offensive line. And I feel like we could mash some people and push them around. Our defensive line, they get after them every day. So it's a really good indication. I think our offensive line is pretty good. And for our DL to match up with them every day, they can hold their own with that crowd. We're going to be okay up front.
Any Ron Parkers roaming around in your secondary?
We got another transfer, Quan Peterson. He came in from Syracuse. He's a guy out of Rock Hill. And just wanted to come back home, and very talented young man. Yeah. He's a good-looking kid at a corner spot, a little taller than what normally we have at this level.
But that's a good thing.
It certainly is, and I think that he'll make a major impact for us. And there's 2 or 3 kids in there that we brought in. That's some of those guys I talked about that bonded quickly with us in the off season, and now they're starting for us, and I think it's going to make a major impact for us.
Kicking game.
It's up in the air right now. We'll figure that one out. We hadn't been in camp long enough. We got Burke Nettles that's back from last year. Yeah. Burke did a good job last year, and he's back in grad school. This is his last season. He punted for us last year and kicked off, and I think he'll be the main guy for us this upcoming year. I think we've got some young guys that'll challenge him, but you're going to have to get after it if you beat Burke out.
I mean, you really sound upbeat about this team.
I'm excited about them, Phil. I really am. Yeah. And coming off last year, you really need to be excited.
Yeah.
We got to get it going.
It's got to start with you.
And I feel like we're going in the right direction. Yeah. No question about it.
Yeah.
I think we're clicking on all cylinders right now. A lot of that could change. Camp is long, and accidents happen. I just hope that we can stay away from the injury bug, because, at our level, if you get the wrong 2 or 3 guys hurt, it's tough on you. So I think we've got the right crowd. I think if we can keep them healthy, I think we got a shot.
Are we going to get the Bronze Derby back again?
We've talked about this a long time, and I doubt that it'll happen. I really do.
Really?
I would love to see it happen again. I'd love being a part of history, and I think that game was part of football history, part of South Carolina history, and I'd love to get it back. Win, lose, or draw. I'd love to have another
opportunity. Are you guys talking at all? Is there any conversation taking place?
Between Coach Englehart and myself,
yeah.
If it was up to us, we'd meet like in the middle somewhere on Highway 76 and play the game.
Yeah.
If it was up to me and him.
Yeah.
But it's not up to me and Coach.
Right.
So it's above us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those guys have to work it out.
They do. They should.
And I think they should.
I mean,
yes.
It really, how hard can it be?
Right.
How hard can it be?
I agree 100%.
I mean, I'm ignorant about it. Berkey, I know you want to jump in. How hard can it be to get the Bronze Derby going again?
Well, you're going to have to talk to the guys in Clinton because, as Coach pointed out, I don't think it's Newberry's problem. I think Newberry would play it. It's the people in Clinton
honestly,
that have the issue.
Right. I think Coach Englehart is a great guy. I've known him. We played against each other or coached against each other when he was at Florida Tech. So we go back a good ways. And, again, if it was up to us, yeah, we'd have it going because, you look at both of us travel-wise and that kind of thing. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it makes sense.
And every ticket would be sold.
No question.
And think of all the outsiders who would come. You would that game, of course, drew more than just Newberry and PC fans.
Right.
Especially when it was played on Thanksgiving.
I was fortunate enough to be a part of the last two. Mm-hmm. And, just hadn't seen it in 20-something years.
Unbelievable. Yeah. We're going to keep bringing it up, do our little part by talking about
exactly.
it. I mean, if you don't talk about it,
it'll never happen.
It will never happen. And even talking about it, it's not happening, but at least you can't kind of keep the idea alive. So thank you so much.
There's a generation, guys, now that don't remember the game because, as Coach pointed out, the last game was in 2006.
That's right.
That's right. Sad.
Crazy.
We thank you as always. Thank you for the bling,
Coach.
man. I got a new hat, a new shirt. I'm feeling.
I just love it when you guys come up and just appreciate it every year.
I'm living the berry.
Exactly.
I'm living. In fact, I heard. I was listening to KDK on my way in. Heard Jimmy Coggins referring to. He was doing a news story. He referred to the city of Newberry. It's not the town of Newberry anymore.
I guess we're growing up.
City of Newberry. It's getting up there.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh man, I enjoyed it. Love it when you guys come to
players
town.
Coming. We got
a couple guys going to jump in here.
We're going to talk to them and have some fun. We thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good seeing you. All right, that's Coach Todd Knight here with the Newberry Wolves. And we're going to talk to a couple of players. I think we got the quarterback coming in. We got the quarterback coming in? And the linebacker. We got the quarterback and the linebacker going to visit with us. That's coming up after the break. Be right back.
75 years. One reputation. Too tough to tame. The Lady in Black doesn't care who you are. Rookie or vet. Playoffs favorite or long shot. 75 years of scraped walls, battle scars, and history made the hard way. This Labor Day weekend, be there to write the next chapter of the Cookout Southern 500. NASCAR Playoffs weekend at Darlington Raceway, August 30th to 31st. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
Maybe your credit's seen better days, or maybe it's just never been quite where you want it to be. At Founders Federal Credit Union, we get it. Life happens. Things don't always go according to plan. But that doesn't mean your goals are out of reach, whether it's a car to get to work or a little extra breathing room in your budget. We offer personal and auto loans to help you move forward with flexible terms and a team that treats you like a person, not a number. We take the time to understand because you don't need a perfect credit score to start your next chapter. Visit a local Founders office or foundersfcu.com to learn more. Founders, helping you do life on your terms, helping you build a brighter financial future. All it takes is one visit, thefoundersfcu.com, to get you started. Relax, you've got this with Founders. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Sports Talk. Sports Talk Media Network on the Palmetto Pigskin Tour tonight at Newberry College, visiting with the Wolves. Just heard from Coach Todd Knight. We're now joined by a couple of the outstanding players, the quarterback, Reed Sharpia, and outstanding linebacker, Mikey Blanding from Charleston. Reed, of course, from Columbia. Made it here via where? NC State?
Yes, sir.
That's where you went when you finished up at BC?
When I finished at BC, I went to junior college in Georgia at Georgia Military College, and then I went to another junior college in North Carolina called Lewisburg, and then to NC State, and then Newberry.
Gotcha. Well, welcome home to the state of South Carolina.
Yes, sir.
How's it going so far for you, picking up the offense and getting into the flow with what they're doing?
It's going great. I think I have it down by now. We had all spring with our new offensive coordinator, and so now I think we're just kind of fine-tuning everything to get ready for the season.
What do you think some of your strengths are that you bring to the offense?
Definitely playmaking ability, throwing, running. I think I can do both, extremely high level, and then just mindset.
Of course, you were here last year.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but you were hurt somewhere, you not?
Yes, sir. I played a few games before I got injured.
That's right. I remember that. What were the injuries you were dealing with?
I partially tore my meniscus, and that's what happened.
All good now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Mikey?
Yes, sir.
You ready to go this season?
Of course,
Yeah.
1,000%.
Coach Knight is really fired up. How about you? What do you like about this team?
What I like is what I started. One thing I could say is this team reminds me of when I first got here. Like, we're more like a family now. Like, for the past year or two, we kind of got away from that, like being together, making this a brotherhood. Now, like, it feels like I'm back at home. It's like these my little brothers and big brothers all around. So that's the main thing, that I feel like the energy and everybody's on one accord. We all on one page. We all got one goal in mind. It's not me, or I want to do this for stats, or we got one goal and we trying to get there, you feel me? So that's the main thing I'm excited about.
Love it, man. You're from Charleston. I can hear it.
Yes,
I can hear it all in your voice. You went to the Citadel?
Yes, sir.
Before coming here, this is your first year?
This is my first year, but to dominate. But I've been here previous years.
Gotcha.
But unfortunate circumstances happened last year, so I wasn't being able to play. You know what I'm saying?
But you're going to dominate this year.
Dominate.
I mean, what is domination?
Domination is 4 quarters long, us putting foot on somebody's neck, defense getting to the ball. It's everything like that, all aspects of the game, from DBs to D linemen, dominate. And I'm not saying me as in dominate, me and my squad, my boys, my D linemen, my DBs, everybody. We about to dominate. Like, goose eggs coming, I'm telling you.
Are you the leader of the defense?
In a way, yes, sir.
In what way?
I'm not a gray scribe, but I kind of like that because I take it into mind, like, I don't do things the nicest way. You feel me? Like, sometimes you gotta pat somebody on the back and be like, "Come on, friend." Now I'm like, "Hey, let's do this." You feel me? You feel me? But that's all it is, really. I'm just get to my teammates a little different than a gray stripe would. That's all.
Understood.
Yes,
Understood.
sir.
Reed, what about the offense? What do you see? Some of the strengths of this offense. It was an offense that only averaged about 19 points per game, so that's not going to cut it. What's going to make this offense better this year?
Well, I think you're about to see a whole new offense this season. First of all, we always had a lot of playmakers, and I was coming off an injury last year, so now just coming back fully healthy. We have some great receivers, some great backs, great linemen returning, and then a great new offensive coordinator. So I think everything just coming all together, I think will definitely be able to put points up on the board this year.
You think this offense is going to be a quick striking group, or something you're going to strike deep with some deep balls? How do you foresee this offense producing points?
I mean, I think right now, as all teams in fall camp, we're just trying to find our groove right now. But, I mean, I think we'll be able to score in a variety of ways, running the ball, throwing the ball. And then we also have a great defense. I think we have a lot of players on both sides of the ball, so I think we're ready to go as a team.
Fellas, we wish you the best. Hope you have a great season. Stay healthy. Get things moving back in the positive direction here at the Berry. And we'll be watching you closely. Thanks for coming over and spending some time with us.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having us.
Enjoy the rest of your night.
Yes, sir.
All right, Reed Sharpia and Mikey Blanding joining us here on Sports Talk. We'll be back in just a moment.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Cloudy skies to go with a low temperature of 75 this evening. Tomorrow we do warm up to 89 as our high. We'll have some rain early and a little break with some sun in the afternoon. Look for high temperatures to reach 90 each day the rest of the week, with about a 30 to 40% chance we get afternoon storms each day. I'm Cal Moss with your Og Point local weather.
If you've never had genuine Wagyu or Hereford steaks and burgers, you don't know what you're missing. Time to order the best of the best from HandJCattle.com. These are local farmers in Saluda where tradition meets quality. The best quality beef and a discount for Point listeners. Enter keyword The Point as one word and get 10% off, plus free delivery in Lexington and Richland County orders of $50 or more. It's cooked in season over at HandJCattle.com.
The Point. The Point.
Ago. With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Workers were heating coal and preparing for routine maintenance when an explosion rocked a U.S. steel plant outside Pittsburgh. That's according to a company executive who spoke to reporters on Tuesday, a day after the blast killed 2 workers. The explosion was powerful enough to shake nearby homes. It also injured more than 10 other steel workers, including one who spent hours trapped in the rubble. U.S. inflation was unchanged in July as rising prices for some imported goods were balanced by falling gas and grocery prices, leaving overall prices modestly higher than a year ago. The figures suggest that slowing rent increases and cheaper gas are offsetting some impact of President Trump's sweeping tariffs. More details at srnnews.com.
We haven't read a letter from a homeowner in a while, but this one was so good we had to share. Quote, "We moved to Columbia about a year ago, heard your commercials on the radio, never thought I'd be writing one myself. We needed a roof and called 3 companies, Bergen and 2 others. One claimed to be the best, the other the premium roofer. Both were out-of-state owned, seriously overpriced. One even claimed they had someone who used to work for you. Shady all around. Bergen was honest, up front, didn't take a dime until we were happy with the job. So thank you, Bergen Roofing." End quote. Well, we say thank you, Charles. Folks, Bergen Roofing is still locally owned and operated and always will be. No out-of-state investors pulling the strings, just a trusted team that puts homeowners first, not profit margins. If you're comparing roofers, ask who really owns the company. Bergen has served the Midlands for decades. Doesn't answer to any corporate boardrooms in another time zone. Just call the folks you can trust. Call Bergen, your neighborhood roofer, today. 798-ROOF. That's 798-ROOF.
How does a car repair shop last in business for over 50 years like Sudeth Automotive? By providing affordable, reliable, and honest auto repair. But if you ask them, they'll tell you it's their loyal customers who come back time and time again to entrust them with their car repairs, well-trained technicians, service packages, and monthly specials. Isn't it time you become a customer? Call or come by at 1410 North Millwood Avenue or make an appointment at SudethAuto.com.
At Palmetto State Armory, we offer the largest selection of guns and ammunition at unbeatable prices. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are here to provide personalized assistance, ensuring you find exactly what you need. If you enjoy outdoor activities like hunting, camping, or hiking, our clothing and outdoor gear collection has got you covered. We also feature an exceptional indoor range facility where you can experience the thrill of shooting in a safe and controlled environment. Visit us today at PalmettoStateArmory.com or your local retail store. Palmetto State Armory, American made for life.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Sweet from Sweet Comfort Services HVAC. We're locally owned and operated, which really helps keep pricing reasonable. With lower overhead and more accountability, we stand by the systems we install, our repairs, and our parts. Most nationally owned companies know they have plenty of work this time of year when it's really hot. We'll treat you great no matter what time of year it is. Call Sweet Comfort Services HVAC at 803-331-8143. That's 803-331-8143.
Want to hear my success story? I'm Fran Halloran, the money coach. I'm celebrating a decade of partnering with The Point. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. I've used The Point to significantly grow my small business. It started with a meeting with Kevin Cohen. Do you own a small business? Are you on a limited budget? No problem. Reach out to Kev at 563-8558. Get a customized plan and start your journey to business growth with The Point today. Success is one call away. Take the leap.
All right, time to catch up on the NASCAR scene here on Sports Talk. Welcome in the president of Darlington. I was about to say Coach Josh Harris. I'm so used to talking to coaches. He's not a coach. He's just a president. Welcome in, Prez.
Hey, good evening. And some folks sometimes mistaking me for a team owner, Josh Harris. Not quite to that level yet, though.
Understood. Should we just hand Shane Van Gisbergen the trophy now? Because I mean, he's just dominating on the road course. I mean, not just winning, but just dominating. It's not even close. And if he figures out how to do it on the oval, my goodness, how good is this guy going to be with this team?
Well, he's certainly got the road courses under wraps right now. I mean. I think Christopher Bell won the first one of the year out at COTA, and he's taken the 4 since then. There's one more at the Roval in Charlotte. I think it's going to be an interesting dynamic to see. You know, because of his 4 wins, he's built up some playoff points that may help him in the first round, depending on how he performs, potentially to advance to that second round, that round of 12, where you have the Roval, and if he advances there and he wins the Roval, that puts him in the final 8. So that's a storyline that I know we'll be following as the playoffs get started at Darlington. That team's worked hard to try to improve their performance on the oval tracks, and we'll see here, you know, starting with Richmond this weekend, you got a short track, super speedway, and then we come to Darlington Raceway. So we'll see how much they've improved and see how their playoff chances really stack up.
You know, theoretically, I mean, they have so many road course races now, 4 or 5 a year. Theoretically, this guy could run, you know, let's just say a round figure here. He could run 10 years winning all the road course races. He'd have like 40 wins. If he were to go 10 more years, and he'd be up there among the greats of all time.
He would. It would be quite a feat. I have to think that, you know, just like last year, there were some guys that got in there and won on these road courses. I think it's certainly impressive what he's been able to put together. I think Jeff Gordon won, 4 or 6 road courses in a row back, in his prime. So it's not unprecedented, but back then we only had 2 on the schedule every year, so that was over a 3-year period. He's doing this all in one season with the additional road courses we've got. So I think there's certainly a chance of that, but the competitive nature of the Cup Series, I think some other guys are going to get in there and steal some, take some of those victories in future years. But it's certainly a possible outcome for him to, get to 20 or so wins in his career, depending on how much longer he decides to race in the Cup Series.
Josh Harris, president of Darlington Raceway, as we inch ever closer to Labor Day weekend and, of course, the Cookout Southern 575th anniversary and the beginning of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, where I will predict Shane Van Gisbergen will finish at the back of the pack. And let's bring some. I mean, this has gotten almost ridiculous, Josh. I mean, here's a guy who's sitting 25th in points, but has 4 victories and 22 playoff points. That can't be what NASCAR hopes to continue to happen. I mean, he's got to improve on the oval, or do they start doing what the PGA Tour tried to do and tiger-proof golf courses by taking some of the road courses out of the schedule to try and alleviate his advantage?
Well, we'll see how the 2026 schedule shapes up. I think it's been speculated that one of the road courses will lose with Mexico coming off, and looks like Chicago is going to move out to San Diego. So we'll see how it shakes up. Is this what NASCAR wants? I don't think that NASCAR necessarily has a preference one way or the other. And on one hand, it creates a storyline that gets, worldwide attention given where Shane is from. And there is some, value in our sport getting exposure from that. Would think yeah, Shane, he wants to improve on but he's taking advantage of the point system out as it's set up today. And, ultimately for him to advance, though, he's going to have to do it on some oval tracks because there's only one road course in the playoffs.
For those of us who aren't quite familiar with his background, I think if you listen to him, you understand he's not from the United States. He's from New Zealand. But what was his background that attracted him to NASCAR drivers and certainly team owners that certainly Trackhouse Racing would want to bring him in? What was he doing before he came into NASCAR?
Yeah, he was a world champion in the Supercars series down in Australia. And that is a predominantly road course based series, running on a sports car platform. So, the new next gen car is similar to the different sports car series around the world in some ways. And the way I understand this is, when NASCAR created the charter system and this new car, it created one-off opportunities where teams could go out and bring in. And NASCAR's been doing this over the years, especially at road courses for a long time. You got to go back to Dan Gurney going out to Riverside, where we used to open the season, and winning races. And that'd be the only race he would win because he was good at that track and out there. You had guys like Boris Said that raced and won at Watkins Glen. You've had a number of, call it road course ringers over the years that have jumped in, but they've never jumped into a full-time ride after that. And that's really how Shane got started. It was a one-off at Chicago. Justin Marks brought him in, and I don't think there was ever an intention necessarily to bring him full-time to the Cup Series, but after he won that first race he was in, it sparked conversations, and it built, and he said, yeah, I'll give it a shot. So here we are.
Josh Harris with us, president of Darlington Raceway. There are only 2 races between now and the running over just around the corner from me at the track Too Tough to Tame. And Josh, if you were a driver and you looked at the next 2 races and you're sitting outside the playoffs right now because Shane Van Gisbergen wins all the road course races and Hendrick Motorsports wins everything else, Richmond or Daytona in your mind is the greater wild card, greater opportunity for somebody who's not in the playoffs to pull off a win?
Definitely Daytona. I think there's just, the draft really equalizes the field. To me, it is a skill to run well at Daytona, Talladega, and now Atlanta. It's not, but it still presents a wild card nature because there are things that are sometimes out of a driver's control. If you're middle of a 3-wide pack and the guy below you gets tapped or gets loose, you're probably getting collected in that, whether you did anything wrong or not. So it can create this wild card scenario. You find guys at the end of the races up near the front that may not always show up at the front week to week at some of the other tracks. So I think Daytona is more of a wild card, but I also think Richmond could be a little bit of one. If you think back to last year, there's been some some drivers that have performed well at Richmond the last few years that are still on the outside looking in at a playoff spot. You know, a guy like Chris Buescher fighting, you know, in contention for points. Austin Dillon last year with the finish that happened where he ultimately, you know, crashed a couple of guys and got the win taken away. He still was up front running well. Kyle Busch has run well there over the years. So while it may not be as much of a wild card, I still think that Richmond's gonna present an opportunity for some drivers who are below that cut line to maybe step up and take a win and take a spot.
One more note on SVG as we look ahead to Darlington. As I go back and check some notes, his first top 20 finish on an oval was at Darlington back in the spring. He finished 20th. So,
well, there you go.
He finished 7th in the Xfinity Series race there. So, I mean, if he can handle...
He has said that he, I think it was on Kevin Harvick's podcast, that his favorite oval is Darlington. So maybe there's something there that just the difference in the two ends of the turns is, you know, we're not a road course by any means, but it's more unique than any other oval that we run at, just with the uniqueness and the difference between turns 1 and 2 and turns 3 and 4.
Yeah.
It's another 100 miles too, Phil. Keep that in mind.
That's true. That's true. A lot of things happen in those last 100 miles. Track gets greasy. I love it when the track gets greasy. So before we let you go, let's update what's happening with ticket sales and getting. I read where it's getting close to being a sellout. What's the latest there as you guys try to fill up every seat?
Yeah, we're getting down to it. You know, less than 20 days now till the Cookout Southern 500, and the pace of ticket sales has definitely picked up in the last month, and we're trending in a good direction. So I would encourage anybody out there that's considering, don't wait too long. You might be on the outside looking in, and so go out there, get your tickets now. DarlingtonRaceway.com. You can call us at 866-459-RACE, or if you're near the track Monday through Friday between 9 and 5, stop in the ticket office and see Zach or Teresa, and they'll get you all taken care of.
Awesome. We thank you. Have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate it, Josh.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Josh. Josh Harris, President, Darlington Raceway. All right, we run to the break. We'll come back with some Tristan Smith of Clemson, couple of recruiting notes as well. We'll wrap things up here at Newberry, where we visited with the Wolves. They have gone into some meetings here this evening, as football never rests. They never take a break. Nope. That's why we love it. It's like life. You never take a break. You just keep getting after it every day. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Don't go away.
This Labor Day weekend, be there to write the next chapter of the Cookout Southern 500.
Clear, set sail.
NASCAR Playoffs weekend at Darlington Raceway, August 30th and 31st. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
Major Billy Downer here from the Department of Natural Resources, and DNR is excited to announce the implementation of Go Outdoors SC, a new online licensing and boat titling system that you can access right from your phone. Through this new system, customers can purchase their hunting and fishing licenses, renew their boats, apply for lottery hunt opportunities, and complete electronic harvest reporting requirements. For more information, visit Go Outdoors SC at your local app store.
The lottery is not about getting rich. It's about helping people, and it always has been. The lottery is what helped raise the Great Wall of China, build the roads of Rome, and today in South Carolina, it's what generates millions of dollars each year for scholarships like the SC Hope, Life, and Palmetto Fellows. The South Carolina Education Lottery is investing in you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou to learn more.
Straight Up Sports is simply all sports, all the time. Straight Up Sports is a collection of retired and award-winning sports writers and sports broadcasters from around South Carolina, like Bob Gillespie from the State Newspaper, Scott Kiefer from the Greenville News, and Mark Sturgis from ESPN Upstate. Straight Up Sports is about the stories, just like the days gone by with no editors nor managers involved. Check us out on Facebook or Twitter or online at straightupsports.net.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
Okay, we're back. Sports Talk Media Network. Thanks to Coach Todd Knight and the players for being with us tonight. Great having them with us, as always. They do a great job, and hope they have a really good season and bounce back and make a run for the playoffs. And also thanks to Newberry AD Sean Johnson for helping us out, getting us all set up. Appreciate that. Recruiting brought to you by Seawells. I'm afraid the Seawells commercial might be longer than the recruiting report. Plumber, what you got?
Yesterday, I'm not sure if you remember, but I had hoped for a roast beef Friday. Do you remember this? For my birthday on Friday.
Yeah, for your birthday.
Yeah, well, there's no roast beef on Friday, but there is sliced beef brisket, fried flounder, fillets with sausages and peppers and onions. That's on Friday, but tomorrow at Seawell's, fried chickens, lasagna, carved mojo pork loin, and teriyaki glazed salmon. Thursday, meatloaf, carved applewood ham, sesame and sweet red chili chicken with vegetable lo mein. All at Seawell's on Thursday.
Maybe we'll get you a cake made out of roast beef.
Just a big roast beef.
Just a big roast beef. Just a big beef. That's what you are. Just a big piece of beef.
We could just get a carving station in the studio.
We could do that.
Yeah.
We could do that. All right. And of course, when it comes to the art of catering, they should write a book. The Art of Catering. That's Seawell's. Let them cater for you that special event that you might have sometime in the fall or the winter, or maybe you're thinking about next spring. You can never plan early enough. Phone number 803-771-7385. Online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. And, of course, check with them about tailgating and their parking spots and all that over at Seawell's across from the State Fairgrounds, right down the street from Williams-Brice Stadium. Well, as a bonus, since I have so few notes tonight, touch on what we had last night for those who might not have been with us. And one of our notes was Aiden Gibson, the running back from Woodruff, 6'1", 203, about 1,600 yards and 27 touchdowns last season. Big-time schools are jumping on him. South Carolina, Florida, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, Rutgers, Indiana, Florida State, and Tennessee. They've all offered him as he comes out of the 27 class. He's a guy that likes to run physically. He likes to run over you. He does not run out of bounds, he says. He likes to lower the shoulder and put the thighs on your face mask and run through you. He said, you see me run out of bounds, then you've seen something. Now, I added that part. He didn't say that. But he doesn't like to run out of bounds. So Virginia Tech was the first to offer, then South Carolina. The Gamecocks, he said, are on him really hard. He talks with them pretty often, and they're high up on his list right now. Nothing from Clemson. He did camp at Clemson. C.J. Spiller watched him work out, but they haven't had much contact with him, so nothing really going on there. So South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia Tech, Florida State, and Indiana, his top schools right now. And he'll be getting the games there this season. In fact, he's going to be at Florida State for the Alabama game. 2027 corner Zay Hassan of Raleigh has South Carolina in his top 12. South Carolina target, 27 offensive tackle Kelsey Adams, 6'6", 295 of Fairburn, Georgia, was offered by NC State. We move to basketball. 2027 6'5", Jarvis Hayes of Atlanta will take an unofficial visit to Clemson August 30th, one to Georgia on September 27th. Women, South Carolina's target, 5'10", Kate Harpring of Atlanta, committed to North Carolina. Another one, 6'1", Jayla Jordan Jackson of the Washington area. She committed to Maryland. Also, back to the men, 6'8", South Carolina target, Jalen Wingfield of Thomasville, Georgia, added two more official visits with Cincinnati and Florida State to go along with Vanderbilt and Georgia Tech. Baseball, 2027 right-hander Gavin Henderson, 6'6", 165 of Boiling Springs, committed to South Carolina. And there you go with the recruiting report tonight, right here on Sports Talk.
I have a question for you about the basketball. The Jarvis Hayes kid, is he any relation to the Jarvis and or Jonas Hayes that were dominant basketball players at Georgia?
I think he is, Jarvis Hayes Jr. I've tried to look that up, and I'll look it up again here while we listen to Tristan Smith, but I think he might be. But let's go to Tristan Smith, Clemson wide receiver transfer for Clemson, one of the few transfers that Dabo Swinney thought was worth taking. And, Bergie, I'll let you lead into his opening comments.
Must basically tell you a little bit about what they think of him, and he answered questions from the media just a couple of days ago as camp is getting into full swing up at Clemson.
How different is this camp, do you feel, than spring, having had that spring under your belt now? Just how different is it?
You said how is it different?
Yeah.
It's not different. It's the same. I feel like I treat it the same like I treated in the spring, every day at a time, one day, practice every day, like it's a game day, like I said. In the spring game, that was the game, so I practice every day like the spring game. It's no different, but just a little bit hotter outside. That's all it is. A lot more intense.
Comfort level, though, different in terms of the playbook and the speed and all that.
At the end of the day, it's football. Coach got us moving around a lot. So just trying to learn, every position on the field so I can get the playbook down to a T. Yes, sir.
How far are you into that process, getting it down to a T? Are you pretty much there now?
Yes, sir. Really just note taking. I got really better at taking notes. Helping me do things to help me remember the plays. And that's really it. I feel like I'm really confident in our receiver group. Knowing all the plays and just getting a job done at the end of the day.
Wesco was outside talking about the 2 ways of terror. How much is that depth going to help you guys this season?
Oh, you said 2 ways of terror? No, we got 3 ways of terror. We got 3 ways of terror. I just feel like it's really going to help us, go as long. It's a long season. We can play 16 games. So having, a lot of depth, at the receiver position, is always helpful. And we just got guys that can go in after the first, second group that can do the same thing as the first, second group. So it's really good, having someone that's going to come in and make plays the same as the person in front of them.
At the time, acclimated to Clemson, on and off. I know you came in you transferred back in January, but these 6-7 months that you've been here so far, have you kind of just got yourself adjusted to the community?
I got adjusted to the community really just by, getting outside my house, not trying to stay in my house too much, being with my teammates a lot. That's what, we up here, fall camp, we up here all day. So I see my teammates every day, all day, and really just build, the natural relationships with my team, and really just everybody in the community. I think when I first got here, I went down to the nursing home, and did some bingo, and I really loved that. So just doing stuff like that, little things, to help out in the community, it's going to go a long way.
I think it was in the spring you mentioned that TJ Moore was pretty impactful in your first few months. Just how does that relationship continue to grow?
The same as it was in the spring. We got really cool, really fast, but as I'm building a relationship with him, I'm building relationships with every other teammate, not even just the receivers, some DBs, some offensive, defensive linemen. So really just building connections with the whole team, just getting to know everybody, but just TJ specifically, it's just growing, like I said, we still, go over the plays a lot, we still, hang out a lot, go get some food and stuff like that. But we've been really doing more stuff as a group, as a whole, as an offense. So, yes, sir.
When you look at the spring that you had, you talked about the note-taking, the progress you've made. What's that next step you feel like in conversations with coaches or just what you've seen on tape?
Just continue to build on what I did in the spring. I don't like rely on the past too much, but just continue to make plays when the ball come my way. I got to practice better too. I had a kind of rough first day. Getting acclimated to fall camp, and Coach Swinney got on to me a little bit about that. But really just trying to grow and build on those days, and just whenever the ball comes my way, just try to make as many plays as possible to help our team out.
How much chemistry have you developed with Cade now that you've been here, through the spring and now weekend fall camp?
I built a lot of chemistry with Cade. Like I told him, really just building a relationship with the quarterbacks too. Cade stay after practice, and we just work on certain throws that he wants to work on, anything he wants to work on, over the shoulder, just things like that, and really just. Cade stay right by me, so I see him every day. When I leave the house, coming to weights or coming to practice, coming to the facility. So really just talking to him about life every day. So really just building that relationship with him. That's going to make it more impactful on the field just by building that relationship off the field.
Well, you got to like everything about this guy, 6'5", 205, and coming off a season of 76 catches for 934 yards, over 12 yards a catch, 6 touchdowns. So that gives him a big, tall target to throw to down the field. One of several. They've got several tall, lean guys to throw the ball to.
I just thought it was interesting, his comments about developing a relationship with Cade Klubnik, and, well, he lives beside me, so I see him when we go into work every day.
Yeah, that makes it simple. Cade Klubnik, is he better than Ty Simpson? Well, I think he's proven more than he has compared to
he's
Ty Simpson.
He's got a better resume
right
at
now.
this point, yeah.
But we'll see what happens as the season rolls on. Yeah, we got to pick back up on our predictions. I mentioned 9 for the Gamecocks, and we'll have to talk about what we think for Clemson tomorrow night as we come to you from Charleston Southern on the Palmetto Pigskin Tour. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Plummer. Thank you, folks here at Newberry.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A suspect in a deadly shooting at a Target store in Texas that killed 3 is in custody.
Police say the gunman at a Target store in Austin, Texas, fired randomly and had a history of mental illness. Police Chief Lisa Davis says Ethan Nineker killed a Target worker, then opened fire on a grandfather and his granddaughter before stealing their SUV.
Innocent